Hello and welcome to Lunchtime News. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. We will dig into it. In Mbale, the current HIV/AIDS prevalence rate is 4.5% with a positivity rate of 3.5%. Robert Wandwasi, a local AIDS advocate, emphasizes the need for collaborative efforts to reduce these figures by 2030. Executive Director of the Mbale Network of People Living with HIV/AIDS, Peter Mweru, noted that young people with HIV/AIDS often lack knowledge about budget processes, which hinders their ability to access necessary health services. This issue was addressed during a 3-day budget and advocacy training workshop held in Mbale City.
We still have a big problem, and definitely we need to do something about it, because this prevalence is sometimes increased because of people not having the knowledge. People not knowing which services they have budgeted for us, which services can we get where, meaning that there should be information where the services are and what we have budgeted for and what this youth can be able to access.
Stigma and discrimination is one of the major factors that actually is increasing the new HIV infections. And I think also as young people living with HIV, we are going to use this platform to ensure that also we advocate for some resources to be put up in the item of fighting stigma and discrimination.
There is a gap when it comes for us demanding for services at the district, because we really don't know where our funds are allocated, so we just bump into the office and you know what, we want money for this and this. And just today really I got to know that funds are allocated in relation to the demand.
They can be able to improve their health in terms of health-seeking behavior, because this will enable them to understand what budget is allocated for the adolescent or young people living with HIV, what budget is allocated to them, how can they put it to use, and how this money is going to be used effectively, how they can reach this money.
They are at level 1, there are young people there, and there is a secretary for young people. For children affairs is normally the vice. That vice must bring on board the issues of the young people, including those living with HIV.
Planned during the budget processes, and because even young people are not engaged during these budget processes, so we thought it may be to be very important for us to ensure that we have this training for the young people to understand where to start from when they're making the budget.
And Hoima district officials have suspended the commissioning of 2 classroom blocks at Kibengia Primary School in Kapapi Sub-County and a maternity ward at Kabiro Health Center 2 in Kiganja Sub-County. The halt comes in response to concerns about poor construction quality by Vivek Contractors Limited. Officials state that they will not approve any government projects with signs of substandard work and have instructed all contractors to address the issues with these uncommissioned projects.
As far as service delivery is concerned and monitoring, you realize that there is a structure that we've not commissioned because work is not yet done according to our expectations, and we've already communicated to the contractor to do corrections, and the moment corrections are done, we shall come back to verify. And of course, if the corrections are done and the structure is up to the standard as per the BOQs are concerned, we shall commission the structure.
Contractors who never paid their workers, that workers were threatening to demolish some of these structures. We have talked to them, and we have taken it up to see to it that we summon all these contractors so that they do what they are supposed to do diligently and pay off these workers. The other category has been the contractors who have done shoulder work. We have not commissioned all those structures that have been noted that they are not meeting the standards.
The other building of Vavik construction, the way their work they have done is not a good work, starting from day 1 up to the roofing and even putting the tank. for tapping water.
Wonderful job. Actually, the worker is commendable because has done it to the maximum and nobody is complaining. And the Vavik has also tried to make some good work. Only that there are a few things that need correction. Take an example, the terrazzo. The gutters need to be channeled properly such that water can be collected into the tank. And if they can also work on the tank, simple. I think they have all done some good work.
And the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Health and Trade has raised concerns about the Uganda Police Force's submissions regarding the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023. The MPs criticized the police for presenting speculative statistics that lack solid evidence to justify damages caused by alcohol. Police expressed concern about their limited capacity to implement the proposed legislation effectively if it is passed into law. The Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023, introduced by Tororo Woman MP Sarah Opendi, aims to further regulate alcohol consumption in Uganda.
In its last days of the committee stage, the proposed Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023 has advanced to its cause for existence.
Along that item of
Uganda Police Force has joined other stakeholders in adding their opinions in the new intended legislation. The bill is being handled by both the parliamentary committees of Health and Trade.
We have seen that these bars are not in isolation. There is a bar here, around it there is a border stage.
A prominent clause in the bill is to regulate the time of sale and consumption of alcohol. The committee asked the security officials how the force is ready to implement this element.
By the end of this session, if we pass the Alcohol Prevention and Control Bill, it will be implemented. It will be enforced by the enforcement agency.
Although the officers note that the abuse of alcohol has greatly contributed to high cases of domestic violence, traffic offences, and other crimes in Uganda, the MPs wanted to understand the statistics guiding their explanations.
In the absence of that, we can't take a decision on speculation that it may be alcohol.
Police encourage the sale of alcohol to be dominated by supermarkets than bars to ensure more use of alcohol from home settings.
Say anything that impairs somebody's mindset should be avoided. And then we allow people to drink from home. Then how then do we enforce such a law?
But to implement the proposed new legislation, the officers decry inadequate manpower.
Low capacity, we have gaps. I clearly stated that it might be difficult to enforce the law in all areas in the same magnitude.
However, the officials interested the committee on how the force is implementing on putting up sub-county police models for support and increase in numbers.
If we are occupied with that number of personnel, with that number of motorcycles, then identification and monitoring of bars within those areas becomes easy.
Concerning enforcement on the bill, police cite how this needs collaborative efforts and it will work with other agencies to make sure enforcements are put in place. Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gutaminji, Parliament.
Deputy.
And the woman member of Parliament for Mbarara City, Rita Tukwasa, has praised President Yoweri Museveni for providing free vaccines to combat foot and mouth disease. This initiative is essential for helping livestock farmers in Mbarara City raise healthier animals. She made these remarks during the final launch of the foot and mouth disease vaccination program in Nyakayojo, South Division, Mbarara City.
They need to do is to mobilize the community, and then the veterinary officers come and dispense the medicine. But we also
the woman member of parliament for Mbara City, Rita Atukwasa Wahika, has assured farmers that the foot and mouth disease vaccine is both free and safe, urging them to ensure all their animals are vaccinated. She emphasized the importance of fully utilizing this opportunity to protect every animal in the city.
We have gathered farmers, we have gathered cattle keepers to receive the foot and mouth disease vaccine, which the government imported, for people with animals ranging from those who have sheep, goats, those who have cows, and it is free. We are educating the community to make sure that they are not stolen from.
Atukwasa Wahika also stressed the need for farmers to cooperate with veterinary teams to ensure the smooth administration of the vaccine.
To deal with foot and mouth disease so that our milk can be uptaken all over the world, the beef can be uptaken all over the world, so that our quality of livestock products is to the world standard. That one will increase the amount of money that will come to the people.
Mbara City Production Officer and City Veterinary Officer Dr. Amanyire Moses explained that the launch is part of efforts to extend services and raise awareness in Mbara City's South Division. The initiative began in Renjeru Ward, Bihare, in the North Division.
To manage the pandemics of diseases attaching livestock. Here in Western Uganda, we have been having a prevalence of the foot and mouth disease. Even other diseases like the mump disease among goats and livestock. We know that this vaccine that has come is the best quality from Britain, and we know that this vaccine is compulsory. So we are urging all farmers, regardless of where they are living, to accept this voluntary vaccination of their livestock.
Dr. Manyire noted that the foot and mouth disease vaccination process is governed by laws under the Animal Disease Control Act.
For the South Division, and already our team to the different farms to go and do the exercise.
He warned that farmers who fail to present their animals for vaccination would face legal action for obstructing government efforts.
I encourage everybody when the vet doctors come to your home, to your farm, please accord them the necessary assistance so that they can vaccinate your animals. And
Mayor Jomo Mugabi of Mbara City's South Division urged the government to enforce strict penalties against repeat livestock thieves who disrupt government programs aimed at supporting animal health and farming policies.
It's too much. Abashuma nibibente bazito motoka enche za wishiza za ipsamu ezini tusquatirisi so tine kwerwa na umno.
Mtonyi Hilda and Freda Nyine, UBC.
With that, we take a turn. More details.
MTN! Hektusako Hajaruna Mbiru live in concert Friday nga mwenda August. Hajaruna Mbiru huyo! Kusenda hotel Rockta nunga mwenda August. Monshoja atumie Hajaruna Mbiru live in concert. VIP ya mtualo 15. Tokawa jigula kumomo ya mtualo 10. Hate meze ya milioni 3. Nyiga kamunyenye. Emo mkaga 5 kamunyenye 20 kadara. Oba downloading ya momo app. Wagule ticket kusente ntono. Nga 10 August. Kolini hotel mukono. Ticket ya shinzo mtualo gumu. Boa jigulango kosa momo. Jigulango 15. VIP mtualo 3. Nga 10 August. Maria Frema Saka. Shinze mtualo 2. Boa jigulango kosa momo ya mtualo gumu. VIP mtualo 5. Hate momo. Mtualo 3 na chitundu. Bitege kedwa keti events. Waurone biwagirwa.
MTN. Together, we're unstoppable.
Predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Monday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Stake 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Ugandan National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Ugandan National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Shocking statistics on road crashes in Uganda show
that there were over 23,608 road accidents in a single year, 2023. This highlights an increase of 16% compared to the previous year. The Uganda Traffic and Road Safety Report of 2023 also shows that there were 24,728 casualties from road crashes, with 4,806 people dead, 16,736 seriously injured, and 3,186 escaping with minor injuries. The rampant increase in the number of road crashes and casualties in Uganda is seriously alarming. According to Uganda Police Traffic Report, 80% of road crashes in Uganda are as a result of overspeeding, reckless driving, and violation of traffic rules and regulations. Your life and that of other road users matters. Every life taken or injured in a road crash is an emotional loss to a family, resource loss to a business, development contribution loss to a community, and a socio-economic loss to the nation. Join hands together to reduce and, if possible, eliminate road crashes from our roads by avoiding reckless driving, obeying traffic signs and rules, and maintaining public safety intelligence to keep ourselves, passengers and other road users safe at every time. Remember, drive safe today to live again tomorrow. Tofira kukubo.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Coming soon on UBC.
Welcome to Inside Broadcasting,
sharing with you the process behind what you see on the screens.
My name is Lorene Masika Kazimoto.
Step behind the scenes and witness the magic that brings your daily broadcasts to life.
That's why I come out openly to actually tell you that I'm an investigative journalist, that even when you see me here, I'm actually investigating you guys. So you should be aware about that.
Experience the hustle, the heart, and the human stories of our on and off-air staff.
I see my phone ringing and I'm like, ooh, which number is this? I hear the president on the other line.
The president of the Republic of Uganda.
Of Uganda, yes.
Be inspired, amazed, and part of the journey that powers Uganda's most captivating TV and radio moments.
Because good broadcast comes down to an individual. They should be artistic.
This is Inside Broadcasting.
Inside Broadcasting.
Inside Broadcasting with Mark Wadula.
Coming soon on UBC.
Welcome back. And on the international scene, recent protests in Kenya that forced the president to dissolve his parliament have been led by members of Generation Z, many of whom identify as tribeless and classless. Who are these young protesters? Let's find out.
These have been the scenes in the streets of Nairobi and across Kenya for the past 2 months. Young people leading demonstrations to call for good governance. Government data show about 3/4 of Kenya's population is under 35 years old. Experts say for years, Kenya's economic and political structures have not been responsive to young people.
And what they said is they realized
There is no one to speak for them.
Most of the protesters are part of Generation Z, born in 1997 and later. The protests were sparked by a contentious tax bill that President William Ruto later withdrew. But protesters say the president has to step down as well. 26-year-old Kasmuel Makoure has been in the forefront of the protests. He says the Ruto must go call is not an attack on Ruto personally, but a call for good governance.
It is the Ruto-isms, the isms that have been associated with him, the corruption that bedevils his government, the cronyism, the sheer incompetence of the people who surround him in government, the sheer number of unconstitutional offices that we've had to endure in his tenure, the extrajudicial killings, the excesses of the police, in a country where we're living, where we have a police force and not a police service. Ruto must go is a clarion call to a better Kenya.
Ruto dissolved his cabinet on July 11 and reconstituted it to include members of the main opposition party. Speaking last week in Mombasa County, he pledged to tackle the main accusation against his government.
I will mobilize resources that are available. I will mobilize every resource that's available to deal with the challenge of corruption.
But critics say the new cabinet, which has half of the fired ministers back in office, does not inspire hope. Recent polls show over 80% of Kenyans support the youth-led protests. Wanjiru says this is because the protesters spoke to the feelings of many Kenyans.
Kenya is in a bad situation. Our political leaders do not reflect our aspirations. And the young people have come and spoken to our aspirations. So really what we are seeing by these shop owners and business owners and parents who are supporting their young people is these young people have captured our aspiration.
Analysts say to bring about real change, the youth-led movement has to organize politically and collaborate with other progressive political groups. Protester Leon Mushiru agrees.
It's high time the young people come together and say that we have identified certain individuals from all over the 47 counties, and we have come together and we're saying that this is the opportunity for us also to go on the ballot come 2027.
President Ruto says the government will not allow further protests in the country, saying, quote, enough is enough. But activists note the right to peaceful protest is guaranteed in the Constitution, and protesters like Mark Ore are defiant. They are planning a major demonstration in Nairobi on August 8th. Juma Majanga.
And in the U.S. presidential contest, Republican candidate Donald Trump and likely Democratic candidate Kamala Harris are both out on the campaign trail, where Trump questioned Harris's racial identity and Harris challenged Trump to debate. It is now fewer than 100 days before Election Day for the U.S. presidential race, and here is what voters are saying about their candidates.
Ismail Haniyeh was last seen.
Republican candidate Donald Trump told supporters in the key swing state of Pennsylvania that his likely Democratic opponent is a fraud.
The radical left Democrat Party bosses have installed a puppet candidate to fight only for themselves. Kamala Harris got 0 votes. She's totally scripted, owned, and controlled by the donors and the power brokers who created her campaign and who rip off our government and make billions and billions of dollars.
Former President Donald Trump.
Earlier in the day, Trump had a contentious meeting with black journalists where he questioned the racial identity of Harris, whose mother was Indian and her father is black.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
Harris has long self-identified as both black and South Asian American. Since becoming the likely Democratic presidential candidate, she's drawn even with Trump in 7 key swing states, according to political polling by Bloomberg News and the Morning Consult, largely on the strength of greater support from young, Black, and Hispanic voters.
So the momentum in this race is shifting. And there are signs that Donald Trump is feeling it. You may have noticed.
Harris told a rally Tuesday in Georgia that Trump seems to have a lot to say about her, but does not want to debate in September as scheduled.
Well, Donald, I do hope you'll reconsider to meet me on the debate stage. Because as the saying goes, if you've got something to say, say it to my face.
Harris is expected to announce her vice presidential pick in the coming days and still has the party's convention in Chicago to help convince voters that she's a better choice than Trump. In North Carolina, voter Wanda Cherry says she's excited about the Democratic Party switch from President Joe Biden to Harris.
I'm glad that the president realized that we need somebody younger to run the country, somebody that has the smarts and the willingness to run.
Georgia voter T. Stanley does not believe Harris is ready to be president.
First, her being the candidate, this is like horrific to me because, first of all, she's not prepared to be president, and it seems like she's already president now.
Georgia voter Phil Ownby says Harris has reinvigorated the presidential race.
I will vote for her, and I'm excited to do so. I generally think she may be a little liberal on certain issues, but in order to safeguard our democracy, I definitely vote for her.
In California, voter Marina George says Trump's support is strong enough to defeat any challenger.
Even with Kamala Harris coming in, anyone they put, they're not going to win. It's just making the Democrat Party break apart even more and faster, and everything that they're doing is good for the Republicans.
Nationally, the Bloomberg poll shows Harris and Trump in a statistical tie, with fewer than 100 days to go before Election Day. Scott Stearns, VOA News.
And Israel is bracing for retaliation from Iran after senior Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was assassinated there. Iran immediately blamed Israel, which did not comment. But Israel has previously said it will assassinate every Hamas member involved in the October 7th terror attack.
Ismail Haniyeh was last seen alive attending the inauguration of Iran's new president, Masoud Pezeshkian, on July 30th. Haniyeh, the political leader of Hamas, an Iranian-backed Palestinian militant group, was killed in an airstrike the following day. In Singapore, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told Channel News Asia the United States was not aware of or involved in Haniyeh's assassination.
Well, of course, I've seen the reports, and all I can tell you right now is I think nothing takes away from the importance of, as I said a moment ago, getting to the ceasefire.
No one immediately claimed responsibility for the assassination, but Israel has targeted Hamas leaders since the group's October 7 attack on Israel that triggered the ongoing war in Gaza. In April, an Israeli airstrike killed 3 of Haniyeh's sons. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, who met with Haniyeh the day before he was killed, has vowed revenge. In a statement, he said, quote, "We consider it our duty to ask for the blood of our dear guest." Iranian ambassador to Lebanon, Mojtaba Amani, also blamed the U.S.
We know that the Americans usually guide and support the Zionists in such criminal acts.
Haniyeh's killing happened a day after Israel carried out a strike in Beirut that killed Fuad Shukur, commander of Hezbollah, an Iran-backed group in Lebanon. Israel holds the group responsible for a deadly attack in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights over the weekend. With fears of regional escalation rising, Western countries are urging restraint. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said war is not inevitable.
We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we keep things from turning into a broader conflict throughout the region.
Meanwhile, Israel continues its military campaign in Gaza as a ceasefire for hostage agreement remains elusive. Qatar and Egypt, key mediators in the talks, said Hania's killing jeopardizes truce efforts. But Blinken declined to speculate.
We simply don't know. What I do know is the enduring imperative of getting the ceasefire, and what I do know is we'll continue to work at that every day.
Israel has killed more than 39,000 people in Gaza, according to Palestinian health authorities, which do not distinguish combatant and civilian casualties. The campaign is in retaliation for Hamas' October 7th attack, in which the militants killed 1,200 people in Israel and took more than 200 hostages. Patsy Widakuswara, VOA News, Washington.
And now in sports, State Minister for Sports Peter Ogwang has announced a new reward system for each medal won at the Olympics Games. This was during a visit to the Uganda team camp in the athletics village in Paris.
The Uganda team camp at the Paris 2024 Olympics has been boosted by the visit of State Minister for Sports Peter Ogwang. He delivered the good news of an increase in pay for each medal won.
Those who will win a gold medal, the ministry under the National Council of Sports, under the directive of the First Lady, has provided $30,000 for a gold medal. That's 100 million Uganda shillings. That is for a gold medal. We will have 50 million for a silver medal. In dollars, that's about how much? Isn't it? About 15,000 or 17,000 US dollars. Then we will have 30 million for a bronze medal.
The meeting was attended by athletes including Jacob Kiplimo, Kathleen Nobo, Martin Magengo, and Tassis Orogot.
I'm really happy to be here. It's right now everything is going well. Training has been good, and I'm really excited to next week to get going and see how good I can perform.
The minister also highlighted on the stipend backlog for athletes that is going to be cleared as part of a sustained plan by government to grow sport in the country. National Council of Sports Board Chairperson Ambrose Tashebia tasked the athletes on endeavor, but at ease because all of them are already champions.
By implication, so many people will not get the gold because you are more than 3 in every sport. So it is normal that you might not get a gold or silver or bronze. But what is within your means is to give 100% of what you can give as an athlete.
Uganda Olympic Committee President Donald Rukare spoke ethics to avoid cases that may raise concern.
Observe the highest level of discipline, both physically and also online, because they are monitoring your online activities using AI.
The meeting was attended by the vast majority of athletes at the Games, including new freestyle 100 meters national record holder, Gloria Muzito.
I'm very happy with my swim yesterday. I'm proud with the time. And this is just another motivation to keep on working hard, go back home. We're going to talk with my coaches, and we'll just see how far I can go.
The athletics team has also had a training session with Halima Nakai alongside Winnie Nanyondo. Jacob Kiplimo, Peruth Chemutai, Belinda Chemutai, Esther Chebet and Martin Magengo Kiprotich also got a feel of the star-studded training center in northern Paris. Athletics for Uganda gets underway on Friday, with a swimming also having Rhoda Ngonzi in the 100-meter butterfly. Kathleen Nobo is in the final E, while cyclist Charles Kajemu is in action on Saturday.
Well, that does it for Lunchtime News. Thank you for sticking with us. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Good afternoon.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Shocking statistics on road crashes in Uganda show that there were over 23,608 road accidents